everyone, this will be my fourth update on the space management idle incremental game I've been working on. So for this week, got a lot to show. Let me just go ahead and start the game. I'll go through it. And I'll just pop that out. All right. So immediately from last week, there's probably a lot of UI changes you might notice. In the top right corner, I've added a new resources view. This is going to show basically whatever resources are currently located in your planet Earth orbital warehouse, which is going to be considered sort of your main resource repository. Anything you want to do with resources, you have to get to Earth. So if you're mining resources out on Mercury, you need to find some way to get them back to Earth so that you can use them. And what I found while testing was that in instances where I was using the resources, it was difficult to know how many I had without having to like click out of the menu I was in and go back to Earth and see what they were. So I wanted some way for the player to be able to see basically the resources that are available to them at all times. And so that's what this resources menu is currently accomplishing. I'll probably iterate on it a little bit more to make it look a little better, but it accomplishes what it needs to accomplish for now. There's also this new progress bar up at the top of the screen, which is currently not working. But the idea there is that that's going to show the total number of drones that you currently have and their usage, as opposed to ships. And the quantity of drones you have will be several orders of magnitude higher than the amount of ships you have. So basically this is going to be a progress bar that, if your drones are fully utilized, then this bar will either be full or empty. I'm not sure which yet. But it's just a quick glance at how many drones you have available for tasks. The next thing is I have this new system view. One of the things I found that was difficult about this world is that when you start dealing with these outer planets, and in the game right now it only goes out to Saturn, and Uranus and Neptune and Pluto and beyond are going to be even further than these. And so if I'm zoomed all the way out like this and I want to click on Earth, it's nearly impossible. If I with a little bit of effort, I can kind of get that one pixel there. So what I did was I added this system menu, and this basically shows the planets from top to bottom, with the innermost planets being at the top and the outermost being at the bottom. So if I wanted to jump to Earth, I could just click the third one, and it takes you right to Earth, focuses it, and you can get to it rather quickly. So that's just a navigational aid. The next thing is that I added a tooltip system as well as some feature gating behind progress. So you'll notice at the top of the menu we have three locked buttons, and so those are features that are not available to the player at the start of the game. When they log in, they're probably going to wonder what they need to do, and so if you hover over them, at the moment this is how you figure it out. I think there'll probably be a launch screen that says, hey, welcome to the game, this is what this is how you get started. But at the moment it's sort of self-discovery. And so, it says, hey, unlocked after you build your first ship, head over to the space dock and orbit around Earth. And so I'm going to go to Earth and then go to space dock. And this is another thing that's changed since last week. New UI here. This is still a work in progress. I'm not totally happy with it, and the way these buttons work is a little broken. So there's a lot of work to be done there, but it's an improvement over where it was. And so if I'm the player, I would go ahead and just build these right now, which are actually not costing anything, despite the fact that they say they are. And you'll see that I can't build more than 5. So that's new this week as well. And that's limited by the fact that I, as the player, only have 5 ship licenses, because Earth has limited the amount of ships that I can buy. But because I did that, I've now unlocked the ship licenses feature as well as the drone assembly feature. And so I think at this point, I need to have some way to help the player understand what to do next, because right now you basically have to click these and send them off to mine somewhere. But which place do you mine? What resources are you interested in? That kind of thing. So I need to work on the discoverability of that stuff a little bit. But I will send them off on their mission. And while they're doing that, I will show some of these other features I've been working on, such as the licensing system and drone assembly. So I will assign them to mine, and they'll keep mining that planet and returning it to Earth, where the resources will get sorted, and you'll start to see them show up in this resources dialog in the top right. So if I go into the licenses menu, This is the Department of Space Vehicles. This is where you stand in line and fill out loads of paperwork to obtain ship licenses for your fleet. The government of Earth has decided that they don't like corporations such as yours amassing massive fleets. So every time that you need to obtain a license, you have to fill out the paperwork necessary. And of course, every time it requires more paperwork than the time before it. So if I assign my administrative drones, this is a type of drone that you'll be able to obtain, which is basically a spendable resource that you can assign to a task. They will get to work filling out the paperwork, and you can see that I will have a new license available in about 45 seconds. But since I did start myself with 1,000 copper ore because I'm a cheater, I will go ahead and build myself some more of these administrative drones. So those are queued up and building. And immediately one of the problems I see here is that there's no way for you to actually see how many drones you currently have. And that's what this progress bar up in the UI is going to be for. So a bit of a work in progress. But if I close that menu, head back over to licenses, I can assign more of these drones to this task now. And my license will get done quicker. And then once the license is available, I can collect it and they'll get to work on the next license, which will enable me to go to Earth and obtain another miner, which I will assign to a task. And I can see that my sorting facility, which is being supplied by those miners, is now sorting through ore, and so you can see the material coming in on the left and being sorted out onto the right. And as that material is sorted and this bucket of copper fills up, as it just did, we'll get a little bit of copper ore showing up in the orbital warehouse, and of course up in the top menu as well. And afterward, after we get about 50 of them, we'll be able to build another drone, and that's the early game cycle right now. So when you get to this point in the game, the only goal you really have is to further unlock ship licenses. And so I'm trying to go back to the drawing board on design for this stuff and try to make this early part of the game go by quicker, and try to design more systems, more idle systems that would be useful at the top of the bar, and to give the player something to look at and progress while they're waiting for some of these tasks to complete. So I think that's about it for my update this week. I think that covers most of the changes. I'm sure there's some things I've missed. And actually, I do remember one, which is that there is something that you really can't pick up in the video, is that there's now movement with the middle mouse button, so you can click and drag, which I found made the experience quite a bit better. Little iffy if you're holding it down and you hit the zoom button at the same time. Gets a little nauseating, but overall it seems to work pretty well. So I'll probably be iterating on that some more to make it a little more usable, but overall it made a big improvement over what I had before, which was using the WASD or the arrow keys to move around, which can become pretty tedious. Okay, I think that's it for this week's update.